Hey there guys, I'm Kieran. This is the first ever episode of Kieransmoviespace, and I wanted to make my first episode a really special one, which is why today I'm reviewing the latest installment of the MCU, Avengers Infinity War. One thing you should probably know about me moving forward is that I'm a huge nerd. Obviously, I love movies, TV, comics, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe was my entry point to a lot of those things. This franchise really opened me up to this world. It's the only reason I started to read comic books, and it's been incredible to watch this universe grow over the past 10 years, and now we get Avengers Infinity War, which it's the biggest thing to happen to this franchise. It's probably the biggest movie of all time, and it's certainly one of the films that has had the biggest impact on me as a fan of all of this kind of stuff. And I just want to make it clear that this is a spoiler-free review, so I won't be discussing any of the major kind of plot points or character moments or anything like that. I'm going to try and keep this as basic as possible and just try to talk about all of my overall thoughts and opinions before I give my official rating for Avengers Infinity War. So I think that's just about enough setup. Let's get straight into this review, starting with the positives, and the first thing I really want to talk about are the characters. Over the years, Marvel has done an awesome job of introducing us to some pretty amazing characters and then bringing them together. Joss Whedon obviously did this perfectly in the Avengers, and then I'd say that the Russo brothers came along and did an even better job with Captain America Civil War. But when it comes to Avengers Infinity War, you've got an insane amount of characters meeting for the first time on the big screen, and I'll admit to being a little bit worried just because I wondered how the Russo brothers were going to balance all of these characters and still tell an entertaining story. But I'm going to say right now, this film does an outstanding job of balancing the characters. Every character, both hero and villain, gets a moment to shine, and we get a surprisingly large amount of scenes that actually develop these characters and add some really compelling layers to some of these characters. Obviously, I won't spoil anything, but I was really kind of shocked to see that an Avengers film was able to give us some of these really kind of subtle character moments, because I imagine it would have been very, very easy for the Russo brothers to make a 2-hour action film where we get zero character development, but we really do spend a lot of time with these characters, especially Thanos, and we really get to know these characters and understand them on a new level. Now, of course, I can't talk about the characters in Avengers Infinity War without talking just a little bit about Thanos, because at the end of the day, Thanos is really the most important character in this movie. Now, I know Marvel doesn't have the best track record when it comes to giving us good villains, but with this film, I think everyone from Kevin Feige to the Russo brothers understood that Thanos needed to be a compelling villain and a scary kind of imposing force that looms over the entire film. Thanos is absolutely amazing in this movie, and it's great to finally see a villain that can actually have a real impact on the story and these characters. When Thanos is in a scene, you're terrified, and not once throughout the movie did it feel like any character was safe, and that's a testament to great writing, great storytelling, and a really great performance from Josh Brolin. This is really the first superhero film that puts the villain in the lead role. Thanos is absolutely the main character in this film, and not only has Marvel broken its reputation of giving us mediocre villains with Thanos, it's delivered one of the best cinematic villains of all time. When you're going into a movie like Avengers Infinity War, you know you're going to get one thing for certain, and that's great action. In Captain America the Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War, the Russo brothers showed that they can film some truly amazing action sequences, but they've somehow managed to step up their game yet again, because Avengers Infinity War has some really mind-blowing action sequences and some of the most entertaining fight scenes that I've ever seen, and they're spread nicely throughout the movie. One of my biggest issues with Avengers Age of Ultron was that the third act of the film just becomes a big CGI mess, and the characters are just fighting because it looks cool in the cinema. The Russos have constructed most of the action scenes here in a way that makes sense for the characters. You know why they're fighting, and like I've already said, the characters feel like they're in real danger, which we've never really seen in this kind of film before. The tone is another thing that I was worried about heading into the cinema, just because when you're bringing all of these different characters together, you're obviously going to have a really strange tone. The Guardians of the Galaxy are in this movie and they have a very unique tone and style, so I wasn't sure how that would mix with the tone we're used to from the Avengers films. But the great thing about this movie is that it didn't make changes to the characters. Don't get me wrong, this is a dark and very serious film compared to previous Marvel movies, but it stays in line with the tone of the characters. When the Guardians are on screen, it feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Obviously Thor has his own unique tone, and that's a part of this film as well, and the main thing is that it really doesn't feel like a Frankenstein's monster of different tones. Everything works together really well, and it opens the door for some authentic comedy, which is obviously something that the Marvel films are really well known for. Avengers Infinity War is the darkest MCU movie yet, but it's still a very funny film, and the balance of drama and comedy is handled really well throughout the film. It never feels like a joke is out of place, which is an aspect of this film that I really enjoyed and really appreciated, and it was really great to have some of those more comedic moments between some of the really dramatic moments that were mostly spread throughout the film. One thing you'll learn about me as I keep doing this podcast is that music is a major thing when I review a movie. I'm a really big fan of movie scores and soundtracks, so walking into this film, I was hoping that Marvel, along with Alan Silvestri, had given us a really great score for this film, and I've got to say, I was really impressed. This is a very dark score, it's a very emotional score, but it's also got some really fun and energetic tracks as well. It's also really exciting to see how Alan Silvestri uses his old Avengers theme and takes it in surprising and different directions. This is definitely a movie score that I'll be downloading, I'll probably get the vinyl, and I'll probably be listening to it on repeat for the next few weeks while I cry myself to sleep. Okay, before I get into some of my negatives, there's just one more thing that I want to talk about, and that's the ending of this film. Obviously, there are no spoilers, but I just want to say that the ending is probably the most effective and shocking finale that I've ever seen for this kind of movie, or any kind of movie for that matter. I really don't know where the Marvel Cinematic Universe goes from here, which is a really weird feeling. We've never had that before, and it's like we've always known what comes next for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but we really don't know what the next chapter is gonna be, and that's a really terrifying thing. This ending just completely changes the game for Marvel, and I can't wait to see what they've got under their sleeve and what they've got in store for Avengers 4 and beyond. Now, no film is perfect, and unfortunately Avengers Infinity War isn't the exception, but there is only one issue that I could think of while writing this review, and it doesn't even bother me as a fan, it's just something that I think everyone seeing the film should be aware of, and that's the fact that Avengers Infinity War does rely heavily on the audience's knowledge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think at this point Marvel was just kind of like, if you haven't seen the other films, then that's your problem, and I can get that. Why would anyone want to go see this film before seeing any of the other Marvel films? But for those of you out there that might not have seen any other Marvel films, or might not have seen all of the other Marvel films and plan on seeing this one, just be aware that there will be certain elements that you won't understand or fully get. Don't get me wrong, you'll still have a really good time in the cinema, but you might not get the full experience because there are elements, a lot of elements, that you'll only understand if you've seen the previous 18 Marvel films. So yeah, that's my only issue with Avengers Infinity War, which means it's time to wrap up this review. Before I do that though, I've got to give you my score for this film, and I'm going to go really high. I'm giving Avengers Infinity War a solid 9 out of 10. Like I said, I really enjoyed this movie, and as a fan of this franchise and these characters, it's everything I hoped for and have been waiting to see for the past 10 years. So yeah, that's it for my review of Avengers Infinity War. Let me know what you thought of the film in the comments section below. If you're looking for some more Infinity War content, make sure you check out monkeysfightingrobots.com. I just posted an article ranking my top 5 Infinity War characters, and the link for that is in the description below, so you can go check that out. And please like and share this episode, and yeah, I'll see you in the next episode of Kieran's Movie Space.